Okay, I thought I'd do one more rubber stamp show and tell while I have my camera kind of raised up all the way and all the wiring and all that type of stuff out of the way. I have a really huge tabloid size Rubberstampmadness. Now, tabloid size is 11 by 17. This is some scratch paper that I have right here to stamp on. This is 11 by 17, so you get a basically double page spread size from these magazines right here. And RSM, short for Rubberstampmadness, they switched to a different format at one time, but they were mailing them out like this, and I have two copies of magazines like this, pre-folded. They started sending them out folded. I don't know if they were in like a plastic sleeve or packaging or envelope or something like that, but it's just hard to imagine that these were mailed out just like this floppy kind of format at one time, but they were. I don't think it was in another envelope. I think it was just mailed like this, but it's almost like it in too good a condition. Or maybe what this was it this top cover right here. I guess this is a cover seal or something like that, so maybe it was sealed up somehow and then mailed off. But what a fun thing to receive in the mail. I have two of these like this, and the rest of them are folded over, and I never took mine, and folded it over. I always like to keep it just like this, in this format here, but I have a couple different issues here in this format. Issue number 60, November, December 1991, and this one is the September-October 91. Issue 59, cover price $4. But I thought we'd go through one of these. I'll try to make it really quick, but I don't know. I start flipping through these things and I get stuck on these certain pages. But really strong cover right here and pretty cool looking. Looks like screen printing more than rubber stamping. So there was probably some screen printing done. And I don't know how they kind of formatted this, but those images in the background are all stamped, I could see. As well as this one down here. I can barely even get this in on my camera. I have my tripod cranked all the way up, but let's see this first inner spread ad right here by the Museum of Modern Rubber. They had a ton of Halloween imagery in their line, and as I've mentioned before, I've always loved their imagery. I don't know, I'll just stay flipping through. Here's Penny Black, which a lot of you are familiar with. If you're an old stamper or newer one, when I say newer one, I'm talking about last, 15 years or something like that. But going back to the 91, that's going back quite a ways in terms of rubber stamping, It started getting a lot of, you felt the momentum of rubber stamping kind of increasing, like in the late 80s, and especially kind of really starting to catch fire around the early 90s to the mid 90s or so. And I started Stampscapes in 93, but I could tell from the Rubber Stamp Convention in Carson, California, that was kind of the center of the stamping universe in terms of the industry. As far as location went, Rubberstampmadness was certainly the hub of activity in terms of kind of international, kind of things that were happening with manufacturers and news and whatnot. If you're a rubber stamper, chances are you subscribe to Rubberstampmadness. Graph-a-Stamp right there. I did a review of their catalog not too long ago from 1985. All going back to that, but let me just flip through here really fast. I won't, like I said, I'll try not to stop on everything, but you can always pause this video. That's what some people say they've done. When I flip through this type of thing, just because they'll recognize a company or whatnot. So this was already. I don't know when Rubberstampmadness started doing kind of full color printing in their magazines, obviously by this time, but I think maybe in those mid to late 80s, like 87, when I started working for a Stamp at the Hand. I don't know if it was all color, or it might have been two color or something like that, but I think you could incorporate color in some of your ads at that time. Remember, back in those days, they were doing kind of manual hand color separations at the time to do that type of printing, so quite costly and time-consuming, you know, in regards to that type of publication here. Some really cool designs right here. Looks like a lot of old engravings here, kind of interspersed with some kind of individual hand-drawn designs. W.C. Ward stamps. I don't even remember them. Rainbow, California. Yeah. So going back to this one right here, 91, there's a lot of companies that I don't recognize. I was working in the industry, but I wasn't really familiar with a lot of the different manufacturers. I don't remember when I started the subscription to Rubberstamp It's mostly animals, a really fantastic line of images, and really love their gigantic sets. Here's a stamp of the hand right here. That's a company that I worked for. Sorry, I can't get everything in on screen. Like I said, my camera just can't, my tripod can't raise up that far. But look at this. This is the type of advertisement. You don't see things like rubber stamp pads being advertised in this magazine because raised pads weren't out at that time. So we don't even have stamp pads at the time. There might be a couple in here, but there weren't a lot going back to this time. But look at this. This type of thing is being advertised in this stamping magazine. So the carving blocks. So people were still doing a lot of the hand carved, you know, Statler Mars, eraser carving, and these ones were the best to do that with. You know, so you got those linoleum block cutters and engraving tools, and you would cut out your own stamps. So a lot of these different images in this, like this Whimsy alphabets set right there, that was probably done on eraser carvings right there. Stamp of the Hand had a lot of eraser carving styles of that type of design in their lineup, so all done on the Statler Mars. So you see these types of things being advertised here. Stampers in Paradise, that was the Stampa Barbara logo right here. And I'm not sure. I think this is their first location here, this little image. And I just got in touch with Gary Dorothy, is the owner of Stampa Barbara, just today, because I've always been curious. I've always wanted to, wish I could share some of the photographs of his stores, and I just can't find anything online. And unfortunately, he didn't take a lot of photos of his places either, so I'm going to log on to Facebook and see in his Friends of Stampa Barbara group if someone's posted some photos of those stores. But I'll share those with my Flickr group if I can go on there, and he gave me permission to download the photos and share them if I want. So, Stamp, Century City, look at that. Embossing tool. So a lot of people got into stamping via embossing. That's the thing that kind of really hooked people early on. Oh my gosh, this is one of my old designs right here. I forgot what that was called right there, but I don't know. You wouldn't think that, you wouldn't associate that with Stampscapes because I did that for a Stamp of the Hand company, but it's interesting seeing that in there. C Spot Run Farmers Market, one of the first rubber stamp stores around, and that was in the famous Farmers Market area of Los Angeles. It's a permanent structure. It's not like this weekly or monthly type of farmers market going on, but it was you know, kind of a touristy area right there, and it was right there in that shopping area. If you're familiar with that farmers market at all here. So going through, looking at these different types of imagery and things like that, full color center spread right here. I have that design right there, the creature of the Black Lagoon. I'm gonna have to do some Halloween thing, and of course this is the Halloween, you know, themed issue right here, being September, October. So a lot of those images in there. And advertisements have to do with that. Painting with Rubber by Stephen Vandermeer. He had a Mirror Image, one of the companies that I always admired, you know, in terms of the just the skill and the kind of the whole, I don't know, the whole theme of that company, and just, I don't know, it was like the zen of making rubber stamps, you know, in every aspect of it, and some really cool images. He closed shop, I think it was last year, so not around any longer, as, you know, so many of these different companies in here. Now, I know I'm flipping through quite a lot, but this is just to kind of give you the gist of kind of the, you know, the different things that are around. As I'm flipping through here, I'm looking at all these different stores that used to be around. Stamp into Burbank right here. Look at this right here. This was a really impressive ad right here. Stamp Francisco and Abracadabra. Abracadabra was one of the first, if not the first, I think, to make the rainbow pad, dye-based pads, and it was hand-inked rainbow pads using dye-based ink, so really cool concept, and those, we sold out of those things like crazy. They'd kind of they'd blend after a while, but, you know, in the meantime, you can do these real cool stamped impression. You stamp it into the rainbow pad, and you get this, you know, this rainbow impression, or you can use a brayer in there and brayer add a background with this transitioning color, you know, whatever color theme it was. But look at this, just it's just huge advertisement like that, you know. I don't know if this was a compilation of a bunch of stamps or if that was one stamp right there. It wouldn't be that size, of course. It would be smaller, but just super impressive. I mean, it's definitely you know, attention-getting for sure. It's kind of unconventional to throw something in outside. All right, graven images right here. I didn't know they were around at that time. I have a couple of their images, and I picked it up at Rubberstamp Barbara when I was shopping in there. I'd always be attracted to the graven images. That and Yes, Pigs Can Fly. I always seem to walk out, you know, even though a lot of the images didn't necessarily look like each other, but I don't know, just their curated grouping of designs was something that I was always kind of drawn to. Stamp Oasis right here. This ad down here, again, sorry about the, I have a wide angle lens on here, but this is just magazine is just so huge. But look at that, Stamp Oasis. That's the first store that I ever flew to teach classes, and, you know, going from Los Angeles to Las Vegas wasn't very far, and it's probably a 50-minute flight or something like that, less than an hour. But I don't know, we were eating dinner after the workshops, and they would say, hey, you know, hey, the plane's taking off in an hour. Oh, we got time, we'll drop you off right at the counter, you know, or right at the front door, and, you know, you'll walk to your gate in 10 minutes. That's back when you can get on the plane, like, with, you know, 5 minutes to go or something like that with no problem. But they got me there so late, and I was checking in. I had this gigantic bag of stamps that I was teaching the workshop with, you know, and, you know, it was like the plane was taking off in 5 minutes. And they said, well, you'll get there. You know, you should be able to get on the flight, but we don't know if your bag's going to make it. Well, as I'm running through the airport, I have these visions of Oj Simpson, you know, in the Hertz commercial. I don't know, when did he get all that, you know? I think this is pre, you know, notorious, you know, infamous, you know, Oj Simpson. But that's what I had images of. I was just literally running through the airport and up the stairs. I wasn't hurdling, you know, seats or anything like that, but it was crazy. But I got back on the flight. I got on the flight and my bag made it. I have no idea, you know. That was service back then, though. Look at this Magnus stamps right here. There was some kind of magnet system, I guess. Maybe there was some kind of magnetic thing on the back of this right here. And you knew that. So one of the real early kind of unmounted styles of rubber stamps, and this is by ClearSnap. Yeah, ClearSnap was such an innovator of, you know, different ways to use stamps back then. You know, and media and whatever, supplies and materials. So look at this gigantic ad by, you know, ClearSnap right here. So 11 by 17, so 17 by whatever, you know, 22 inches right here of an ad. Crazy. All right. Flipping through Gumbo Graphics, one of my favorite places. And the back right here. So not as many pages as 10 years down the line, you know, in terms of the advertisements, but just in terms of the sheer fun and area size of these magazines right here. Like I said, there's, yeah, I didn't see any rubber stamp pads in here. But look at this, see right there? Marvy Markers, okay? Everyone used Marvy Markers. Le Plumes, they might have had Tombows, which is a different brand, but the Le Plumes are the Marvy brand, and the brush art markers, okay? Pretty much everyone used those. So your accessories in stamping, kind of at this time, there might have been more things at this time out there, but for the most part, it was a set of pens and glossy and matte paper, right? Everyone had it, you know. And if you didn't have those, then, you know, a lot of people don't know glossy cardstock these days, but everyone used to have some of it back then. You know, otherwise you didn't have any supplies, you know. You wanted to have some, you know, kind of things, you know, different things to work with. And, I don't know. Oh, Palo Alto Rubber Stamp. So that was the company that Curtis Ueda used to work for, and that's probably his design right there. Kind of this ghoulish thing, you know, like that. So I never saw this one by him. Well, I guess I did in the ad right here, but I wasn't associating it with him. So he hadn't gone independent from Palo Alto Rubber Stamps at that time yet, but somewhere around in the 92 or 93 area he did. That's this guy that, anyways, I don't know, you can watch the video if you want to. Stampa Barbara Fun Report, so single color, you know, little spots like this. So the front of this magazine was, I think that was orange here, so you're able to take some of that orange right here and use it on the back right here. That was probably in that those color separations like that. But Stampa Barbara was really the first ones, I don't know, in terms of the whole concept of doing real modular styles of stamp designs, where he would come out with a lot of different types of elements that you can really use together. I didn't know they didn't really go full bore on that, right? You know, at this point in time, I don't think, you know, even though like this, and this could certainly be used together. But like you wouldn't use like that character. I don't know, you could or something like that, you know, but whole kind of ecosystems of stamps being used together. And that was one of the kind of the groundbreaking ways to work, instead of just kind of the isolated image, you know, and just a collection of 1,000 different images that, you know, kind of, you know, leave the, you know, up to your imagination on how to put together. But he would actually do these little ecosystems of designs, and typically that's how they would be advertised on the back page of Rubberstamp Madness, and that was his kind of real estate on the in the magazine for so many years there. So anyway, Rubberstamp Madness, tabloid size, issue number 59, September, October 1991. Price $4. A lot less if you had a subscription, which I did, as did a lot of other people. So anyways, fun stuff to look at and whatnot. Great cover, great magazine, still around. Check out their website. And thanks for watching.